Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I am Mona Duncan, and today we're going to be talking about getting your needs met. And we get our needs met pretty much by taking charge of our own life. And let me share the screen. And it's good to have the faithfuls here. Thank you very, very much. And okay, so bring the screen completely up. We'll talk about getting our needs met. So, getting our needs met, being a wordsmith, I like to look at the words and see just what they need. And words, basic needs, they're simple, they're uncomplicated. It's something that is straightforward, it's something that is plain. But as life is in general, it can become very complicated. So, getting our basic needs met, basic is also being essential, indispensable, vital, critical, and undeveloped. So, no wonder we have difficulty frequently getting our needs met. So, back in 1998, I attended a lecture given by Dr. William Glasser, and he began to say in his lecture, he equated he made the suggestion of replacing the term of mental health with the term of responsibility. That responsibility is the ability to get one's needs met without depriving others of getting their needs met. Now, whenever our needs are met, we are fulfilled. And then we are also living at our ultimate wellness. Whereas, or in other words, we're kind of taking charge of our own life. But Dr. Glasser, in his lecture, he also intimated that there are certain physical and mental maladies that are chosen. And I took issue with that because my response was, what? You're crazy. I mean, who in the world would choose pain or who in the world would choose misery? I mean, you'd have to be crazy. But he went on to explain that the original plan gave us at conception these internally driven needs that we as human beings have, and that these internal needs, they are our health. Well, that began to lead me to some deep thinking. I began to ask myself, was was I swallowing my anger? And in the process of swallowing that anger, was it inflaming my joints? Was my anger harming relationships and also my physical heart and my blood pressure? I was asking myself, how am I harming myself? Because in thinking about what Dr. Glasser said, that led me to some really deep thinking. Now, I personally believe in God, and I wish to respond to the free will that has been given to us. And so I began to practice the genius of Dr. Glasser. And my health today, well, I'm taking less meds than I did when I was 40, and I'm several years older than that now. And I am healthy and given into the free will. So I began to practice Dr. Glasser's wisdom. And then when we began to lovingly notice our disconnection from in our thoughts and in our actions, then we can choose to turn our attention to matters that lead to health and happiness and improved relationships. Not only when we come to a conclusion of our own are we willing to make changes and to take charge of our life. So, nature or nurture? Nature is who we are in that our appearance and all the associates to go with that, how tall we become, how old we grow to be. It also has to do what is the nature that we get from our DNA, from our past generations, is our personality, our unique gifting, and our talents. And then also we get some basic needs. We'll talk about those in just a moment. And these basic needs are universal, meaning that everybody in the world, all 8+ billion of us currently alive, as well as all of those that are passed on, they have the same exact basic needs. They are genetic, part of our genes, part of our DNA. They are general, meaning that it's kind of common sense stuff. And they sometimes overlap. But then we also nurture, as in we nurture ourselves as to how we take care of us. And it depends on the attitudes that we have, the things that we value, and the way we behave. So, why and how and why do people do what they do? Now, here, I have a crowd. And you'll notice that this crowd over here on the picture is everybody, whether it's cookie cutter. Everybody looks the same. I mean, everybody, most of them have their hands down, except for one little being there has its hands straight up. But all we do from the time we are born until the time we die is behave. And we're always behaving, as we looked last week, either goodly or not so goodly. And so all of our behavior serves to satisfy a need, whether that need is for happiness or for pleasure. But it seems to satisfy something, even though there are times that it can turn against us. We behave the way we do because it works for us somehow. Others may be scratching their head as to why in the world did that work for you whenever it worked for them. And also, people behave the way they do whenever the behavior they choose is their attempt at the time to satisfy something that is not currently being satisfied. And while the behavior may seem unusual to others, the person would feel much more frustrated if they didn't do that. Now, one little person here on the picture that is representing the crowd of life and all the people on planet Earth, you know, to do that is much more self-satisfying than to not do anything. And the behavior, whether it is very loving and kind and appropriate, or whether it is bizarre, it helps to ease a person's frustration. So there are 6 universal internal motivators. These were characterized by Dr. William Glasser. And we'll look at the term and then some of the things that qualifies it. We have the need to survive. We have the need to just keep on breathing, for air, for food, for water, for sleep, for security, for health and reproduction. That need to survive is also to have offspring, as well as to honor and respect those that are our elders. And that need for food, I mean, as universal as we are in looks and acts and attitudes and the way we eat, yet we have that need to have so much food put into our digestive system during the day. We also have a need to love and belong, to be a part of, to be accepted for who we are, and to feel like we fit in, to know that, yeah, I belong, I'm part of this. It is finding our own identity. Love and belonging is that mutual exchange of genuine caring. It is being esteemed as valuable. And then also in looking at the mind chart associated with Dr. Glasser and the people that frequently ask about spirituality. And in talking with him one time, he came he shared with me that from his point of view, spirituality is in keeping with love and belonging and what beings that we make connection with, whether that be God or some other term of a deity or a higher being. But it also is looking at the generations past and the generations future and connecting with them, and all of the DNA things now of people that are finding out that they had were people in their past and they were aware of, and the wonderful need to love and connect with that. And then also future generations. And then that love and belonging is that conscious awareness of who we are and who we come from. And it's an inward knowing also of right from wrong. That love and belonging comes hand in hand with having a moral compass of doing the right thing. Also, we have a need for purpose and power. Why are we on planet Earth? The belief that we matter and that we are seen as being important and worthwhile. It's a kind of a reason to get up in the morning. It is, winning. It's being successful. That purpose and that power is that feel good feeling about yourself and about your accomplishments. It's knowing deep down inside that, yeah, you do make a difference. It's achievement and recognition and fulfillment. Then we also have this need for freedom. Don't tell me what to do. And part of that freedom is making our own choices. It's the ability to make our own decisions, to be self-determining and independent. And it's a both and. It's a freedom from as well as a freedom to. It's a freedom to say no. It's a freedom to say yes. And then fun and enjoying, which is that need. And it's not just a want, it's a basic need. It's a need for laughter and good feelings. It's a need of satisfaction. It's a need also to increase our knowledge and our skills. So, but sometimes in life and in wanting to get our needs met, we hit some potholes. And I'll just go over these briefly as some of the potholes that or some of the sinkholes that we can get into. Would be like having an overinflated ego, trying to compensate for low esteem, compensate for that power and purpose, having negative attitudes, having a spirit of entitlement. I mean, I am special, but I'm so special that everybody deserves to serve me. No, we all have needs, and our needs are individual. And as they are fulfilled, then we can help fulfill the needs of others. In breaking the law or harming others, it's negative attitudes, trying to be all things to all people, to be superhuman or something. It's not just doing the best you can, but trying to attain perfection. It's being codependent, as in, I can't do it without you. Well, we do need others. It's very, very true. But we need to be who we are and appreciate who we are. Addictions and trauma and losses and sickness. So our feelings, nothing makes us feel anything. So often we say, you made me feel bad. You made me feel this way. You made me that. The thing of it is that we really do choose our own feelings. As we focus on feelings is really non-productive, because we can only have direct control over how we act and how we personally think. And then deep down inside, whenever we get honest with ourselves, whenever we go back up to that love and belonging, and whenever we really listen to our own wisdom heart, we realize that we already have the answer. So our feelings and thinking that we're not getting what we want is a signal. There's signals from our brain, the brain pain, but many times then we have this signal from our brain, something that we sensed, and we add feelings to it that may not be legitimate. Negative feelings are an indicator that something is wrong. And instead of just automatically dismissing it, it's time that we begin to self-evaluate and see, well, what is this little twinge? What is this? What is this hurt? What is this feeling that I'm wanting to cry, that I'm beginning to become angry, that I'm swallowing something? What is it that I need to really embrace and discover and see what the problem is? The best place to look for the cause of a feeling is to look at our relationships and how we may be going back to those potholes, how we may be doing more harm than good. And then we have a choice in how we respond to those feelings because uh, we can heal ourselves. We can take charge of our life. We can go to a counselor, to a friend. We can go to a doctor. We can begin to find out things, nip it in the bud whenever it's not, whenever it's just presenting itself. And then it's always asking yourself, is what I'm doing, is it helping or is it hurting? Is it drawing us closer together or is it driving us further apart? Is it getting me what I want or is it causing others to push back? So it's remembering that everything in life is a two-way street. That when responding to what we need, yours, whether it's responding to what I need, whether it's responding to what someone else needs and you're wanting to help them. When responding to needs, yours or theirs, keep in mind that the only person's behavior we have any control over is our own. And also know that your behavior toward others can affect how they interact with you. So this ends our talk today on whether or not we have needs and how to get them met. And I trust it's been helpful for you. So thanks for being here and many blessings.